ripples across my streaming service. Ba-dum-da-da-da. I could do that, but to me that's lazy songwriting. I recently asked the songwriters in our songwriter community what their current challenges or problems were with songwriting, anything that I could help them with. And I got this message from Leanne Baloli. Lee says, I create melodies but get stuck with putting lyrics to them or vice versa. I'm going to share with you a very practical tip, and some may call it a secret, but let's not keep secrets between us. It's not really a secret, it's just a thing. The key here is the mistake to avoid is trying to start at the beginning of the melody. So this tip is really going to help you identify where you need to start the lyric writing process with the melody that you have. Okay, so let's dive in. There are two things that we need to understand, one about lyrics and one about melody, that are really at the heart of this problem, okay? And once we understand what they are, we can start to create a pathway to joining those two things together in a little bit more of a natural and fluid way. The first thing to understand is that words and sentences and lines have a pattern of accented and unaccented syllables, strong and weak syllables, which is to say that language has rhythm even when we're not singing it. When I say language has rhythm, you can hear that there are accented syllables on the syllable lang and rith. Those are the two strong syllables in that sentence. If I change the natural rhythm inside words, really wonky stuff starts to happen. So I could change that rhythmic pattern and say something like this: language has rhythm. And it's very weird. It sounds like a weird robot gone wrong, okay? So it turns out that language has this inherent pattern of stressed and unstressed syllables. It is true to say that there are some circumstances where those things will change. For example, in that same phrase, if I really want to emphasize that language has rhythm, I've put a little bit of extra accent on the word has. But you know what can't change? The word language. It is always language, it's never language. Also, the word rhythm is always rhythm, it is never rhythm. Herein lies the problem when we're trying to bring lyrics and melody together, because the second component is that melody has stressed and unstressed beats, or we could even call them syllables as well. I'm going to sing a melody to you in a really simple 4/4 meter and demonstrate to you how in this very simple melody we have the same thing. We have some of the notes that, because of their position in the bar and position relative to each other, are going to be stronger notes than other notes. You don't need to go into the technical component of this. You can feel it in your body. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da. So we have word rhythms and we have melodic rhythm. And the key to everything is actually getting those things essentially to be the same, or as close to same as we can. So let's take this same melody and I'll show you by demonstration. So this little melody that goes ba da da da, 1, 2, 3, 4 has essentially 4 notes. If all I'm thinking about is that there are 4 notes in that melody and I just need to find a phrase that has 4 syllables, I might just on the page come up with something like tonight we're here, tonight we're here. That's 4 syllables. Surely that'll match the melody, but let's hear what that sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tonight we're here, tonight we're here. You can feel that it feels a little odd. And it's true that your problem as a songwriter might not be as extreme as this. You might not be writing things that don't fit together like this, but the insight that melody has inherent, strong, stressed parts of it is really our key into the solution. It's the key into finding lyrics that do flow into that melody without a sense of jarring, and also provide us a pathway for generating a lot of lyric ideas that give us options that totally flow with the melody that we have. I'm going to break this down into a 2-step process for us. So the first step of the 2-step process is to take one melodic phrase. Let's just start with one melodic phrase, okay? The key here is to identify What is the strongest part of that melody? What is the most accented or emphasized part of that melody? So is it at the beginning of the melodic phrase? In this case, it absolutely is. When I sing 1, 2, 3, 4, ba da da da, ba da da da, right? The accent is strongest at the beginning. There's another strong accent, but it's not actually as strong as that very first syllable. So in that phrase, yes, the accent is right at the beginning of the phrase, but that is not always the case. So let me give you a real life songwriting example from a song that Benny and I recently co-wrote. So Benny brought this song idea that had a very specific melody, and I will sing you the melody to the first 2 phrases because it's a great example of a melody where the emphasis is not at the beginning of the phrase, but at the end of the phrase, all right? So here is this little melody. So it goes ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da. I'll do it one more time so you can really hear where the emphasis is. Ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da. We knew that this section was going to be essentially about technology. We wanted it to have lots of images of sophisticated human innovation in a technology space. So we kind of knew that. And with that melody, ba-da-da-da-da, that da-da-da, as we were singing that, we were trying to find words that fit into that space. And as we were singing and holding the imagery in our mind, one of us, and I can't remember which one, said something about satellites. And because we'd been singing the melody, we both knew that that clicked into the melody, into that most important bit of the melody. But satellites. And then what happened is, once we had the word, we got satellites. It just fits. Suddenly the rest of the syntax fell into place around that key word. Right now, I challenge you to come up with 5 other words or short phrases that you could replace satellite with. So what else? We got ba-da-da. It has to be something that complies to that same little rhythmic unit. The key tip here is to tune in to where the strong accented parts of the melody are and start finding lyrics there. So we're not going to start the lyric writing process at the beginning of the phrase. We're really going to focus on finding a word, a small phrase that really falls into that strongest moment of the melody. Another way to think about this is we're really focusing our lyric writing attention on the most important or spotlighted part in the melody, not just the beginning of the melody. This is really going to come to life in your songwriting when you actually have an idea for a song. So it doesn't need to be a fleshed out idea, but having a title or having a memory or having an experience or having a story, a scene, a situation, or even just an image or a metaphor that you find compelling can be a great place to start. And sitting inside that image in your mind, playing that melody, but focusing on the strong part of the melody and trying to find a single word that flows naturally into that space. The second step in this little process of bringing lyrics and melody together is to sit down and create a list of raw material for your lyrics. Give yourself a lot to draw from now that you are tuned in to the rhythm of the melody, now that you're tuned in to where those strong beats are and you're actively looking for words or phrases that have a rhythmic match to the rhythm of your melody. A great way to do this is to start by creating a list of lines, images or phrases that are examples that do showing rather than telling. So really trying to include a lot of specific details, objects, things out there in the world, things that show rather than just tell about the idea that you have for your song. Let me show you the list that Benny and I then sat down and created for this song. So we knew that this song was going to be about nature and relationship to nature, but what we were going to do is contrast that with technology. So we sat down and we wrote a huge list of as many aspects of human technology and innovation as we could think of. Satellites, space travel, rocket ships, AI, language bots, solar panels, Hubble, James Webb Telescope. We can see the universe's beginnings, the inception, the nursery, driverless cars, delivery drones, Google Maps, laptops, tablets, streaming services, smart fridges, skyscrapers, buildings as tall as mountains, kidney grown from a pig, 3D printers, etc., etc. I'm going to practice this again, and I haven't written anything, I haven't pre-prepared anything. I'm going to come up with a slightly longer melody, right? Something that has a few moments of strong stress, not just one. And I'm going to look back into that same set of lyrics, and I'm going to start to find things that are going to fit a slightly longer melody. So I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to take one of those lines and find some other words that fit those key moments and see if a line starts to flow around those strong points of the melody. So to me, it's really the middle and the beginning that are the strongest bits. So that's where I'm going to start. But I stay in a streaming service. Ripples in space time, ripples in the stream. I like the ripple. I've got the word ripple right there, right above it. Okay. So I love that there is a connection here between ripple, which we often associate with water, and streaming, which is also water related, but streaming service. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So I like the idea of surface as a counterpart to service, and also surface of water. And again, with attention to the rhythm, surface, bada. So let's see if there's a point in that next half of the melody where I can fit that. Ripples across my stream and surface, ba-dum-da-da-da, ba-dum, surface out. So either surface, ga-da-da, or ba-dum, surfacing, da-da, da-da, surfacing. Surfacing, I think. So I like that. Something surfacing. Ripples across my streaming surface. So now, this is a great moment because I could do that, but to me that's lazy songwriting because I'm putting all this emphasis on the word are, which is to say I'm putting this giant spotlight on the word are, but that doesn't carry any meaning. It's kind of grammatical glue, and I really want to make sure that there's actually a syllable or a word in that space that deserves that melodic attention. So I'm going to keep working. Ripples across my streaming surface, all my dreams. The context here is that the song idea underlying this process is all about technology, right? So I want to create a section. I'm looking at lyrics that are really designed to bring out this idea of technology and my interaction with technology and the ways in which technology manipulates me or influences me or just changes or transforms my experience of reality. So this could go anywhere, but what we've done immediately is found words and images from the image bank of technology and started to be really sensitive to how those words actually relate to the melody. And you can hear that not only is there a really intimate rhythmic relationship between the lyric and the melody, but I'm also drawing from the pool of lyrics that are actually about what I want the song to be about. And there are some really nice aspects to this, right? There's the connection between ripples and streaming and surface. And I also have a nice rhyme between stream and dream. So there's a lot of things going on here that are really cool and at the very least are a far cry from something generic or cliched. So Lee, I hope that this was helpful to you. It's a small but very, very powerful tip, one way in to cracking open this puzzle and this problem of finding a way to create lyrics when you have already written a melody. And if you are a songwriter who would also love to send us your questions, your problems, your challenges, have us create videos specifically for you as well to help you in anything that you're struggling with or are hoping to achieve in your songwriting, click on the link below to check out all the information about our songwriter community, and we hope to see you there. Happy songwriting.